Hi guys, this is Joel Kennedy with Kennedy Violins, and today I want to tell you about the do's and don'ts of where you can place your stringed instrument. So guys, our stringed instruments are made out of wood. So there are three primary situations that we want to pay attention to, and if we follow these kind of basic guidelines, then our instruments will probably be fine, whether we're storing them short-term or long-term. So number one, we want to avoid exposing our instrument to extreme hot or cold environments. So I'll put more of a complete list here on the video, but I'll just mention two of the very most common situations that can happen. Now, most of us store our instruments temporarily or long-term in our house, in some room in our house. Could be your living room, bedroom, something like that. We want to make sure we don't leave our stringed instruments in front of a window. Could be just a regular window in the house, could be a skylight, could be a sliding glass door. The sun shines through that, especially in the summertime. It can raise the temperature of your instrument, and the instrument will go out of tune, and some other bad things will happen if it's for any length of time. So definitely avoid any kind of windows. The other most common situation that can harm your instrument would be leaving it in a hot car. Now, it could be a cold car as well, but usually the hot environments are the worst. Whether it's in the trunk or it's in the passenger compartment, especially in the summertime, the interior temperatures can exceed 100 degrees, well above 100 degrees, and that can do a lot of damage to your instrument. Not only could it go out of tune, but your instrument could come apart, and then you have to have it re-glued. It could crack, and it might crack in such a way where it's unrepairable. And I've actually seen instruments melt. I've seen the finishes melt. And I've actually, one guy, he left his instrument in the car for quite a while, and it was actually a family heirloom. I think his grandpa made the violin or something, but the finish had melted to the interior of the case, and he brought the instrument in, and that was a very expensive repair. But he was willing to do it because it was a family heirloom. Now, most of us our violins aren't family heirlooms, and we're not going to want to spend that kind of money to fix the instrument. So the instrument's you just throw it away, basically. I mean, it's destroyed. So definitely hot cars are a situation that you don't want to leave your instrument in. Just take it with you. If you go into your friend's house, you're going to rehearsal, you're going to a restaurant, whatever it is, just bring the instrument with you. It's worth it. Okay, now number two on the list would be exposing our instruments to moving air. One of the most common situations is people will leave their stringed instrument in front of some kind of vent for the heater or air conditioner in their house. Now, the vent could be on the ceiling, could be in the floor, could be in the wall, but that moving air will dry out your instrument. It'll dry out the wood. Again, not only could you make the instrument go way out of tune, which is a pain because then you have to, the pegs could be slipping and all kinds of stuff, but you could crack the wood, and the violin might come apart. And some cracks, like I mentioned before, are not really repairable. So again, it could be the kind of situation where you just have to throw the instrument away because it would be more expensive to repair it than to buy a new one. So definitely moving air is not good. Now, the second most common situation, I suppose, for moving air would be to expose your instrument outside, playing it outside. Maybe it's a beautiful spring day, you feel like being one with nature and playing your violin. Well, that's okay. A lot of people play their instruments outside, but you really have to pay attention to the outdoor environment. You don't want it to be too hot, definitely not too humid, and definitely, if there's any chance of raining, do not bring your instrument outside. In fact, a lot of professional musicians, they have a backup instrument. So when they have an outdoor concert, they have a backup instrument and a backup bow that they play specifically for outdoor environments. So it's okay if it's not too long and you don't leave it out there and the conditions aren't extreme. You're probably okay. But anytime you take your instrument outside, you're always risking it drying out or something like that and it going out of tune. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so number three would be, and this is kind of an obvious one, is don't leave your instrument in places where it can be physically harmed. Now, one of the more common situations is people will leave their instrument on a seat, a sofa, a couch, a bed, and in their mind, they're thinking, oh, it's just a temporary thing. But what happens is somebody else doesn't know about it. They sit in that chair, couch, bed, whatever it is, and then bam, the instrument gets crushed. Or let's say you just got done practicing, you leave the instrument on your bed, and it's daytime, it's nice and bright. You go downstairs, you go out, do something that day, and then you don't come back to your bedroom, and now it's nighttime. Well, all the lights are out. Or maybe you came back and you know, all the windows are closed and it's dark, but you want to take a nap, whatever the situation is. But the point is that you forgot that you left it on your bed. It's dark, you don't really see it, or somebody else doesn't see it, and they get on the bed and now it gets crushed. And again, these kinds of situations, a lot of times the damage is so extreme that the instrument is not really repairable. So how do we avoid all these situations? Well, the best thing to do is that every time you're done with your violin or any stringed instrument, make sure you loosen your bow, you put it in the case, you put your instrument in the case, you close the case, and you put it aside. You put it somewhere where it can't be physically harmed. You don't put it up somewhere high on a shelf where it can be knocked down. Just keep it on the floor, keep it in its case. That's the safest thing that you can do. Keep your instrument with you if you're traveling, and you'll probably be fine. So guys, I hope I've answered a few questions today. And oh, and by the way, if you do have slipping pegs, I did a great video that shows you how you can fix slipping pegs if this has happened to you and your violin just doesn't want to stay in tune. It seems like the pegs keep on slipping. I'll put a link down below for this video for slipping pegs, and you can remedy that situation really quick. So guys, if you have any other questions or comments, just put them below this video, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and of course the alert so you get an alert every time I post a new video. And don't forget, here at Kennedy Violins, we're all players and teachers. So if you have any other questions or anything else, feel free to contact us anytime. Thanks.